thumbnails. I've been doing YouTube for 20 years. 20 friggin' years. Just got monetized a few months ago. It's a long friggin' time to be doing free videos, don't you think? I'm kind of thinking so. Am I recording? See, that's why maybe I suck. I stop and say things like that. If you're new to my channel, this is not my ordinary type of video. I do off-grid videos and I have all kinds of flashy graphics and things, and maybe I should stop doing that because no one seems to watch my videos. Every once in a while, somebody watches my videos. I get some that I get, 40, 45,000 views, and I get, most of them get like 12, 13, 14 views-ish. So why am I still doing YouTube? That's a good question. Because I'm getting rich? No. Because I love spending all of those hours shooting and editing and filming for your enjoyment? Of course. There's a number of reasons. Yes, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I've been doing most of it right here at my off-grid property. This has sort of been a journey for me off-grid at my cabin, and developing the property and getting into honeybees and figuring out solar power and solar stations. And I've really not only enjoyed sharing that with my friends and my family, but it turns out there is a bit of an audience. There are people like you, I guess, who like to watch this kind of stuff. And frankly, I do actually really enjoy producing these. Back in the day, way back in the day, we used to have these things called photo albums. And we would put the pictures in, we would tell our stories, and I love doing that. I had sort of scrapbook type of photo albums, and I put different things, memories and mementos in there. And I have sort of translated that into video. So for the longest time, YouTube was my personal photo album. It was a place where I could go and document what I was doing out in the woods. And I could come back and look in a couple of years and say, yeah, geez, I remember building that outhouse. Boy, that was fun when Rick was over and we built that thing. It only took us 3 years to build it. So for me, it's a very personal project, I guess. But I really do enjoy storytelling. I'm a musician, and my alter ego is actually as a filmmaker, so I really do enjoy telling stories, and this gives me a way of doing it without all the gear and without all of the expectation and responsibility. I guess I can kind of do what I want. I don't have to worry too much about setting up all these lights and getting professional gear. I can just have my handy dandy cam and walk around and chat to the camera, and if people feel like listening, they can listen and watch. But this has been a journey for me, and it's interesting to share. So honeybees, I started honeybees over 15 years ago. I think this might be my 16th year as a beekeeper. And if you go back far enough, you can actually see the first time that my parents were down and we installed the very first nuke here, and how exciting it was. And I was, handling the frames for the first time without wearing gloves. So I actually really enjoy watching these types of videos. Other people at their off-grid properties. I enjoy when I can't get out here. I enjoy spending time out in the woods with somebody else and sort of seeing what they're doing too. Even if they're not specifically doing product reviews, off-grid stuff, or saying, here's how I installed this, off-grid shower. Just by hanging out with them in the woods and sort of seeing what they're doing, I can get ideas and get inspired from them. And I really hope that I'm able to do that through this channel as well. So let's talk about monetization. Back in the early days, where there wasn't such a big hoop to jump through for monetization, the channel was monetized for a number of years, and I didn't make very much money off it, but I did make enough money to buy a plane ticket to somewhere. And that was sort of my reward every year. So when I say that, I was in a whole year, I was making probably $700 or $800. And for me at the time, traveling was, the second most important thing in my life, aside from the cabin and the bees. And then, YouTube changed the rules and it was like, yeah, no, sorry, bud, you need like a gazillion watch hours. I had the subscribers, but not the watch hours. And I was never able to meet that. A few months ago, things changed because I did a video on power stations. I was thinking about upgrading my solar, and I got like 10,000 views on one video, and then 30,000 on the next, and then 45,000 on the next. And that's sort of when I started taking it a little bit more seriously, and seriously in the sense of, okay, let's tell a story. Let's at least give some good. I'm shaking. I'm sorry, my I've got it on this sort of heavier tripod here. Let's try that. And so that's when I started taking it a little bit more seriously. It's like, okay, well, let's actually tell stories that make sense. Let's try not to have really ultra boring videos up there, things that I think are exciting where I know nobody's going to watch. I try and skip over those and give a little bit of information that's at least helpful to people, because that's the most important thing, right? For YouTube is you want to give, you have to offer people something, and sometimes that's just plain entertainment. But generally something that's going to add value to their own life or their own experience, whether it's just even inspiring them to think about getting an off-grid property, or maybe you're thinking about, geez, what's the best way to cook popcorn when you're off-grid? And you can go check out my review of this awesome little popcorn maker. Shameless plug. So I did get, just get back on track here, I did get monetized a few months ago. And just to let you know, full transparency, it's not very much money. I was a little bit surprised at the first one because it was, it was a $300 check that I got. And I thought, geez, that's actually pretty good. Let's put a little bit more effort in here, and maybe the next one will be a $500 check. Didn't really happen. I got a couple more checks about the same size, and then basically my views just dropped right off and people were watching my videos again. Granted, at the time it was, that was just, we're spring now. I don't spend much time here in the winter, so I wasn't actually posting very much content. But I'm trying to get back on track, and yeah, it's no guff. It is frustrating when you have a little bit of success and you get 40,000 people watching a video, and the comments and stuff was exciting, and I was learning stuff from other people, and then going from that to nothing to 100 or a couple hundred views. Yeah, it's disappointing, and it makes you think, what the hell am I doing? Why do I suck so bad at YouTube? Well, here's the thing. I'm going to keep doing it because first and foremost, I enjoy doing it. I still like documenting my time up here. I love spending time at my cabin, and I really do enjoy spending time looking back and sort of tracking. I can say, geez, when did I get those, all power 400 watt solar panels? I can look back and say, oh, geez, that was in May of 2025. So I guess if I get dementia or something, I can be like, well, that's what I was doing. Oh, geez, that was in May of 2025. Even if I'm only getting a couple hundred views, I really do appreciate when people comment, because then I know, geez, I'm creating value for somebody. And generally when they're commenting, it helps me because they're saying, hey, why don't you try this? Or they're saying, yeah, good idea, but I'm doing this at my cabin. And I love that. I like that and love that, and I love that. So that's why I keep doing it. I also, to me, I'm going to keep throwing some different things like this. This is sort of a walk and talk video. I'm not used to doing this, so I'm still going to try some different things. I'm going to share different experiences that I have up here. I'll still keep doing some off-grid product reviews as I see them being beneficial, because that's something a little bit new that I'm trying. I don't want to be the ShamWow guy. I'm not the ShamWow guy. But when I'm offered a product that I think is going to be really useful for me at the cabin, first and foremost, that doesn't look like a piece of crap. I do some preliminary research. If a company says, hey, you want to try this out, and I look at it and I look and see a bunch of other people doing poor reviews and everyone's saying it's a piece of crap, I'm probably not going to go too far with it. Same thing with products that I just don't think are going to be useful. But things that look like they are quality and also that could be useful, I'm happy to do reviews on them. And I'm also going to tell you whether it's a piece of crap or not, whether it works for me. For instance, like the All Powers. It is certainly not a piece of crap. But I've learned over the last few weeks of using this thing that it is loud. That fan is like, it sounds like a sick cat. So I'm happy to tell you that, and I'm happy to tell All Powers that too. It's like, fix your fan. Great little unit. I don't want it in a tiny one-room cabin with me all night going ring. So I'm going to keep doing product reviews like that. If you've made it this far, thank you, because I'm not even sure if I've made it this far yet in the video. Give me a like, that would be awesome, or better yet, subscribe. I am always posting new off-grid content. I'm going to try and post one video per week, but life gets busy and I don't want to spend all my time just producing YouTube videos, because I suck at YouTube.